Welcome to the Women's Health Community Podcast. We're here to remove the pressure of the gym bro culture within the health and fitness community. So if you're a wannabe muscle mummy like me, a Pilates princess, in your running era, or simply a woman who values her health and fitness, this podcast is for you. Join us each week as we chat with inspiring and motivating individuals from all walks of life, sharing their personal journeys and practical tips for living a healthier and more fulfilling life. Hey guys, welcome back to episode number 6 of the Women's Health Community Podcast. I'm here with the OG muscle mummy, Caitlyn Mcguiness. If you do not know who Caitlyn is, firstly, go look at her Instagram and you'll understand the muscle mummy reference.
What an introduction.
But when I say, as soon as she walked in here today, I had to touch her arms and be like, I'm obsessed. Hello, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Guys, I apologize for my voice as well. I've been really sick this week. So
that's perfect timing. Good job,
really
body.
good. I woke up this morning and was like, this is going to be
It sounds
great.
really hot though.
Yeah, I'm real husky, sexy, you know.
She's a sexy gal.
Sexy muscle mummy.
Start of every episode, we have 4 rapid fire questions. The first answer that comes into your head, it has to be the answer. You can't think about it too hard.
Over these things.
No, it's so fun.
Okay.
What's one non-negotiable in your day every single day?
My morning walk, 100%.
Everyone's saying real wholesome things. I'm like, it's coffee. My answer is
Or
coffee.
actually, no, you're absolutely right. It's caffeine, 100%.
Like if I had to pick walk or coffee, coffee.
Look, there are mornings that I do work as well, so I don't necessarily always get my walk in at the same time.
But it has to happen throughout the day.
Happens at the exact same fucking time every single day. Can I swear?
Yeah,
Okay,
go for it. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
I wanted to be a photographer.
Oh.
Really random.
Really
I went to
interesting.
my primary school, you know, when they tell you to come as what you want to be. I wanted to be a photographer.
How do you
Weird.
dress up as that?
I just took a camera.
Your mum would have loved that costume. It was so easy.
Yeah, she was like, this is perfect. Just take this.
What would be your death row meal? It can be like a
The first
spread.
thing that came to my mind just then was spaghetti bolognese.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, to be honest, I'm such a foodie. I would literally just eat anything.
Whatever they gave you, like sweet.
I'd
Thank
be
you
like,
so
perfect.
much.
Just make it delicious and I'm good.
Yeah.
That or probably a really good steak and chippies.
I'm in my steak era.
Yeah, steak and chippies is
Okay.
my thing.
And then the fourth question, it's unique to every single guest. Yours?
Oh God.
IFBB, yes or no? This is the hot
Honestly,
topic.
this is the hot topic. So many people have asked me this question and it's like people are so invested that they pick up on little things.
Yeah.
Like I changed my shoes and they were like, oh my God.
Oh, is it a yes or no? Is that happening?
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
We should put a sound effect. So we're definitely going to touch on this further in the episode. But for everyone who doesn't know you, who wasn't at our live event at the end of 2024, tell a little bit everyone about who you are, what you do, and a little bit also about your competing achievements and history and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big one.
Big question.
Well, I'm Caitlyn Mcguiness. Who am I? I am a lot of different things. Most people know me as a bodybuilder. Most people know me as an online health and fitness coach. They're probably my 2 prime roles that I do play. But yeah, I guess I'm an athlete. I'm a sister. I'm an auntie. I'm a daughter. I'm a girlfriend. I'm a friend. I'm
A
all the
girlfriend.
things.
Wait, girlfriend. I was so excited about this.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am an online health and fitness coach. I feel like there's so many of us. It's crazy. But yeah, I work mostly with lifestyle clients. I do have a few prep clients here and there. It's something that I'm probably going to try and dig into a little bit more this year. But come from a background of my own health and fitness journey. I dropped 20 plus kilos myself.
Wow.
And yeah, I guess that's kind of where it all started. I wanted to become the coach that I really needed at that point in my journey as well. So I feel like it gives me a really good ability to be empathetic and understand my clients. And then, on top of that, I've always been very sporty, but in the last probably 8 years, I've really stepped into bodybuilding. I'm a pro in 2 federations. Just recently crowned the Australian figure champion for FMG, which was very exciting and a big box for me to tick for last year.
It was very exciting to be able to witness that from the crowd.
Yeah, it was
I
really
love watching you
cool.
on stage. It's always such an exciting day.
babe.
And then when she gets a crown, I'm in the crowd going, yes! Sitting alone, losing my mind.
It was
Absolutely love
super
it.
exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you've been competing for 8 years. That's a lot longer than
I've been competing since 2016, but I've
Wow.
had a lot of years off.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I competed 2016. That was my first ever show. I won my bikini class, I suppose. But I was honestly really not invested in bodybuilding at all. Like, I didn't even know that I could go into the opens. I didn't even know I could become a pro bodybuilder at that time.
Right, okay.
So I just wanted to go and eat. I literally won my class, was like, sweet, got a
I'm
gold,
done.
I'm going.
Yeah.
And then kind of, I'm a very competitive person. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up there. Just leave it where I'm on top and I can't get worse than this. So
Yeah.
it's so fun. And then I took 3 years off. And then in 2019, I competed again. I did a regional show, and then I did, they had like an international, I don't know, something Australian show, and got my pro card then in sports. And then took another, well, I prepped for 2020, 2021, COVID,
Those
obviously.
years.
Yep. Got on stage finally with WBFF. What was WBFF? In 2022. Came third. Went into that thinking I was fitness. So I went from bikini to sports, thinking I was fitness. When I was doing my posing leading up to, I think it was maybe 4 weeks out of the 2022 show, my posing coach said to me, like, you're way too dense for fitness. And I was like, I'm not figure. Like, there's no way that I'm figure. That's wild. Entered into both of them, fitness and figure. I placed higher in figure, came third in that show. Then the year after, I prepped again, only entered figure, got my pro card, went to Worlds, came third in the world, which was pretty epic. And then, 2024, got my Australian title.
I think I was there when you also won your pro card and when you won your crown.
Yeah.
What a fan
Sydney.
I am. That's dedication.
That
Went
is
to
dedication,
Sydney to watch
babe.
you win your pro card. I should have just gone to Vegas and watched you do
Honestly,
the
you
world.
really should have. It was
how
a vibe.
rude of me.
It was a vibe.
That was a whole shit show of a show.
That
I've
was
heard.
an absolute fucking
But we're
shit
not going to
show.
talk on that because we're not getting involved.
That's a completely different
Been there,
topic.
done
That's
that.
another
That's over.
podcast in itself.
That's a scary podcast to even dive into. If you don't know, do your own research.
Yeah,
We're not talking
if you
on
know,
it.
you know.
If you know, you know. So so you've done your 4 shows with FMG. You're only quite new to FMG world, which I was really surprised about. I genuinely thought that was where you had been most of the time.
Yeah, no. To be completely honest with you, like I said, when I first started, bodybuilding was not even a thing for me. Like, I literally did a show because I had 6 other friends who were doing a show, and
just for fun.
Yeah, I'd recently just lost all the weight, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, why not just give it a go, see what happens. Won that show, and then was like, this could actually be a thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
And now you're like Miss Bodybuilding.
Yeah, I'm a pro athlete.
That's
it's
insane.
pretty wild.
Does that blow your mind to think about, like, when you like take a second to actually sit and like reflect on like who you once upon a time were in 2016 when you entered just for fun because your friends did it, to like probably, I don't know who these friends were, but maybe being the only one that still actually competes in that sport and actually being at the top of the level within FMG. Like at the moment, you are the standard. Like, that is it. There is no one actually.
It's so wild to me still.
Technically, no one better than you in the sport. Like, would be, like, I can't even fathom how that would feel to have that, like, reflection even given back to you, being like, fuck, that's me. Like, I am figure. Like, that is you.
It's pretty amazing to think about. And, like, not even just from, like, the start of my bodybuilding competing, but from where I first came from. Like, that girl there would be, like, laughing in your face if you had a thought.
What was she like?
She was sad.
Really?
Yeah, she was really sad. Like, she was very, not confident at all. I had no direction. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I wanted. I was hanging out with people who really did not prioritize their health and fitness at all. Like, we used to binge drink on the weekends. We ate shit. I had no idea though. Like, my idea of a healthy meal was getting the grilled chicken at the fish and chip shop. Like, you know, I just had no education around that whatsoever. And I'd always been sporty when I was younger, but never to the point where I had any idea on what health actually looked like.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have been in that position where I was always smaller end, you know, really active, always sporty. And then when I got into like my 20s, started drinking, had access to, you know,
What
fast food all the
Yeah,
time
you
and
have
all
your
that
own
kind of
money.
stuff.
You can go buy
Exactly.
what you want. No one
Yeah.
can tell you no.
And I
That's
just sent
definitely
it. Like,
that was where my downfall
yeah.
happened. My first year of uni was like I was going into the city every day. Didn't have my
Hey.
mom packing my lunches. Like
No.
I was Georgia for the first time, and I was
Absolutely.
psychotic.
Yeah. And I think also having a car, like when I had multiple jobs at the time and I was always driving. So every time I went anywhere, I would stop at the servo, I would get a V, I would get a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
That was like my standard.
That's
like,
my husband's favorite servo meal, still to this
so
day.
good though. So good.
Chocolate,
It's been a while.
like chocolate protein, like a protein shake and a Kit Kat.
Yeah. Kit Kats are, yeah, they go. They are good.
I should have bought you a Kit Kat
Honestly,
today.
no, I can't. I'm on prep, so.
No off season there.
No. Someone said to me today, actually, like, how's post-com going? And I was like,
There was no post-comp.
didn't know it.
Yeah, didn't know her. She was there
Didn't
for a
know her.
week.
She was there for about 2 weeks. And then I was like, ooh.
So when going back to like who you once upon a time were and then losing the weight and then falling into that, did you have like a person who somewhat inspired you to start, or was it more so you did it purely because like your girlfriends were doing it, or did you have like a light bulb moment being like, I need to change, something needs to change, I need to lose this weight, or what was like?
Bodybuilding was very separate to my actual health and fitness kind of weight loss journey.
Yeah, okay.
How
How much before was the weight loss before you did? Was it still within like the same year?
Yeah, it would have been within 12 months.
Yeah, okay.
But I think with my initial weight loss, like I just knew how unhappy I was.
Yeah.
The like pivotal moment, I suppose, I got out of a relationship where I felt like I was kept really small and we just did the same shit over and over and over again. And it was all based around drinking and partying and all that kind of stuff. So I think getting out of that, you know, you want to feel good, you want to look good, that whole revenge body situation. Like I definitely knew that I wanted to get into the gym and I knew that I wanted to, you know, feel better about myself as well. But there was a point where I was actually going to open up my own dance studio. And within that, I needed to do my Cert 3 in fitness to have a bit of a backing.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me. Just to have some form of like qualifications behind me.
Yeah.
And then within that, I needed to do work experience. So I was doing work experience in a gym. And my the manager there at the time was like ex-military. He was like full hard ass.
Full commando.
Oh, bro, he was so hectic.
David Goggins vibe.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he actually said to me, like, why do you think that people are going to trust you to be able to change their lives if you can't do it for yourself? And that hit me like a fucking ton of bricks because I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, you're so right. So that was a big moment for me to take a really good look at myself and understand that like it had to start from me.
And I think that also does go beyond just how you look.
Oh, 100%.
I think so many people, like it's such a big thing that everyone gets caught up in. It's just how you look, but like mentality, your social relationships, like health and your representation of who you are is so much further beyond just your physique.
Yeah. Well, I became the fat friend, right? Like, and I never wanted to leave the house. Like I would have
my
a
friend's
melt
clothes.
fucking down because I couldn't find anything to wear. I was always uncomfortable. I just wished that like I could be invisible in those social moments because I just felt like everyone was looking at me and I just hated that so much. And I'd never been that person prior to that, like sort of 3 to 4 year part. So yeah, it was a big kind of push in the right direction. And obviously, like you said, it's more than just your appearance, right? Like everything for me as a coach as well, and what I generally preach is like it's so holistic. Like we need to look at everything. Your mind is so connected to your physical, like everything changes when you start to make progress and you can do it in a more holistic way. So yeah, I felt better initially just by starting to move my body more and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I guess that motivation kind of comes from too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And then do you still have contact with that guy?
No, I don't. He's actually reached out a couple of times over the years, but I haven't spoken to him for probably like 3 years now.
I wonder if we like clip this little bit of the podcast and send it to him and be like, you made me
you did
who
this.
I am. You were going to open a dance
I have
studio.
definitely spoken to him and said thank you.
Yeah.
And like, because I think for a lot of the time, like him being such a hard ass on me, I took that so personally.
Yeah.
Being in the space that I was. But
Yeah.
stepping back now, being a lot more self-aware, I can really recognize that was kind of his just way of pushing me in the right direction.
Yeah. It's
Um,
definitely interesting because I have a similar thing as well. It's like I was never going to study my fitness course. It was literally, I was at a phase in my life, my PT at the time, who I would go and see 3 times a week. I was late to almost every session that I had with him. He was like, Georgia, you need to be doing something. You finished your uni degree. I had gone to America, broken up with my ex at the time. He's like, you need to be doing something.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm going to enroll you into this course.
Wow.
You're going to make the weekly payments and you're going to be coming every single like Wednesday night, whatever it was, and attending this class.
That's wild.
And if it wasn't for him, like,
you wouldn't
my
have done
business
it.
of 5 years wouldn't be a business. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. Like, I've never actually given him that reflection. So I think I'm definitely going to like message him after this and be like,
It's good to do
like,
that
thanks
too.
so much.
Yeah.
Like, you believed in me when I was at rock bottom essentially. And it was
100%.
like, so it's so wild to like be able to pinpoint the person who not so much made you change, but
That's the thing,
allowed
right?
you, gave you that pathway, showed you that
like
path.
everything you've achieved and everything you've done has been on you and like you've made those changes.
Yeah.
But I do think there's like pivotal people in our pathways that they can do or say something and we have a choice. And if that person gave you a reflection or a light bulb moment or whatever, then like I owe a lot to that manager.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
And I think as well, even as a coach, and I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me, like having a client then reflect that back to you. You're like, oh my God, like
I
what have
literally
I
wanna
done?
cry.
I'm like I literally got a message like yesterday morning or Tuesday morning. It's Thursday as we're recording this. It's just like a girl messaged me. She's like, oh, I went and tried on my wedding dress.
Yeah.
She's getting married in like a couple of months. And she was like, I felt beautiful. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Like that's not even changing her life, her career, or giving her a new career, but just being that now that person who, and I'm sure you're the same, from where you once upon a time were to now having these reflections given back to you. Like,
and being able to step into that person for other people as well.
Insane.
It's wild. Yeah. We had our coaching Christmas party on the weekend and I literally was just sitting there with a whole bunch of my girls and I was like, this is wild.
Like they're there because of you.
This is my community and
That's
I
insane.
have built this.
That's crazy.
And it's so nice.
You think about it too much and you're like, stop thinking about it. But I've definitely even made that reflection to you. Your community are so loyal to you.
They're the best.
Like Caitlyn says, like, let's go skydive. They're like, yep, here's my money. We're going. Like, come on, let's go skydive. I'm like, that is such a powerful community to have. Like,
I am very, very blessed. Like, I am surrounded by some fucking incredible people.
Your people are house sitting my house and looking after my dogs. And I'm
You're
like,
welcome.
They're so freaking beautiful. But like, it's just such like an incredible position as coaches, as women, as girls who were once upon a time lost
100%.
to evolve into.
And to be able to empower other people, it's just like
crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge step. Like it's massive to think about where you came from and how you've been able to evolve. So,
and I think it goes so much more beyond just like a business to me. Like,
absolutely.
I'm changing people's lives. I'm coaching now. I'm starting to get a lot more mums and really educating.
It's kind of nice for you because I know that that's like somewhere you want to head into.
Really
as well
big place that I want to go, but even just educating them and then knowing that
that's the future as well.
Indirectly, I'm rippling into their girls' lives, and it's just like. Wild.
It's crazy, hey.
This podcast has been such a reflection to be like, what am I doing? Like, I'm actually helping lives.
I am changing lives.
I am saving everyone.
I'm basically a superhero. It's wild.
Just give me my cape. I'm going to start recording this with a cape. You can call me Super Georgia. So for those who are listening who were at the live event, I've forgotten what month it is. I was going to say December. It was not in December. Was it in December?
God.
I don't even know.
I think it was
at
November.
our last live event of 2024. Let's just go with that.
Let's roll with that.
Days are out of the head. Something that really stood out to me, which I don't know if you've read this question, but it was that you attach a lot of your identity to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Which I think so many people who compete whether it's once, twice, 3 times, whether it's 8 years, whether they're the standard of a sport, whether they're just starting out in the sport, really attach their identity to.
Absolutely.
Like I see it in everyone's bios, IFBB competing competitor, FMG season A, and like it hasn't even happened yet. It's still 2025, like, or like they're putting it in 2025, 2026, so forth, whatever. And I think that you said that once your competing career wraps up, a really big goal for you is to find who is Caitlyn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of wanted to just touch a little bit more because I think as someone who is so experienced in this as you are, to understand the importance of actually setting the foundations of who you are. And when you were answering the question, my first question is explain who you are. Yeah. I could see that you were like, what do I say?
Hard for me
and
to
then
answer.
I think it was a really nice thing that you said, I'm a sister, I'm a mum. A mum. You're not a mum.
I am not a mum.
So sorry.
I'm a dog
You're a dog mum.
I'm a dog mum.
That counts. But you said you're a sister, you're a girlfriend, you're a friend, you're an auntie. Like I think those are some really nice things that you attach to yourself. And I don't know if it's from the event where you realize like, I don't know, like that. But I want you to just explain a little bit more about like the importance of establishing who you are before you compete, or not so much attaching it.
I think there's a lot of reasons why we get so attached to it, to be completely honest with you, because obviously in a prep, it is so consuming, right? Your whole life is about that. And I think so, like, I understand why people have to step into and become the prep almost. And then once you do it, and, you know, I think a lot of the time we get a lot of like external gratification from that situation too.
You're always celebrated when you leave.
Yeah, correct. So there's a lot of celebration for being in a prep, and it makes people lean back into it a lot of the time. I feel like I did things the other way around to what I would normally, or what I would suggest anyway. And like what you're saying is set that foundation, work out who the fuck you are first, and then know that bodybuilding is a hobby. Whereas I feel like for myself, my first probably 4 shows, I'm going to say, I competed for the wrong reasons. And I competed for reasons of control. My life at the time felt out of control, and I knew that I could have some form of control by doing a prep, because everything is so structured, it's so rigid. It gave me some direction. And, you know, for that, I could then focus solely on that. I didn't have to think about anything else. It's only been probably the last 2 years, I'd say, the last 3 shows, that I've actually become a lot more self-aware of like my own self, my own habits, you know, why I do certain things. And that's been like really interesting for me. And it's been a massive shift. And I honestly think, to be honest, it's really lent itself in my preps. These have been the best shows that I've ever had in the last 3 shows.
Well, yeah, so much has happened for you. Just doing those,
But for the first 4, all I did was just do what I was told. I didn't think about what that felt like. I didn't ask questions. I didn't do anything like that. So I really, like, coming into the coach that I have now, Justin, has been so wild for me, because he asked me questions. And when I'm like, oh, I'm not sure, he's like, okay, we'll think about it. And I'm like, oh,
sorry?
What do you need? What do you want me to say though? And he's like, no, I want you to tell me what you actually think. And I'm like, that's fucked.
You're crazy.
I don't know what I think. Yeah. So yeah, it's been like a really big process for me to, I guess, lean into actually listening to myself and my body and what I want and what I need, and then applying that to bodybuilding, not having bodybuilding dictate everything else in my life. So yeah, for everyone else other than me, definitely I would highly recommend working out who you are outside of bodybuilding, because it does very, very quickly become your whole life and can be super consuming to be in a prep, as you know. But it can't define you. Like you need to have so much more.
Yeah, I think like you said, it becomes your whole life when you're in it. But I also think you're a really good example of, it's a part of your timeline.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be prepping for 5 more years. You've already said to me, like, this is going to be your last year, and regardless of what happens, you're done.
Yeah.
So it's like,
which
it's
is
really
scary as fuck.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll unpack that later. Stay tuned. But like, I think as well, it's really interesting that so many people will be like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And then for whatever shape, form, reason, excuse, life circumstance, that is taken away and everything crumbles around them. But then you go up to like, so my sisters are not in the fitness industry, not in the bodybuilding industry at all. They're like, what the fuck's a pro?
Yeah.
Like I was explaining to my
sister. There is a whole other world outside of bodybuilding.
Go up to the guy who makes your coffee in the morning. Yeah. Like, oh, sorry, make my coffee extra good. I'm an F&G pro. He'll be like, bro, who the fuck are you? I'll pour your coffee on your head. Like, I think as well, like achieving a pro status is such an amazing achievement. Achieving a crown is a fucking unique and rare experience, but there is so much more. Absolutely. And I think people get so caught up in that. And I think it then becomes your identity. But honestly, like that would have been me prior to these last couple of shows. But even winning my crown, nothing changes. You know what I mean? Like you're still an auntie. Your niece doesn't change anything.
My niece thinks no less or more of me. She thinks I'm a bad bitch anyway, so it's fine.
I ask my niece all the time and I say, I'm like, Mila, am I your favorite person?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. Am I your best friend? Yeah. And then if she says like her friends at kinder, I'm like, no, I'm your best friend. Wrong. But like, it's so interesting. I mean, I've competed in 3 shows now. 2024 September will be my 4th and final show, same as you. I will not be competing beyond this year. Yeah. But I think I've always gone into it with, I never want to be a pro. Yeah. I never have the desire to be a pro. That's and really I think for me, it's really much, like you've said, it's a hobby. Yep. It's a way to validate the results that I've achieved, validate who I once upon a time was, and prove to that person that she is worthy of what she's achieved. Absolutely. And I think it's a good way of challenging yourself to learn a lot about yourself. Yeah. But in saying that, and exactly like me, I think there are so many people that go into preps for the wrong reason. Yeah. And what do you think about that? Because I feel like I see a lot of stuff on social media about like people being like, oh, not everyone should prep and not everyone should do this. Do you somewhat agree? Because I think I'm the minority and disagree. Yeah. I think everyone can do it to have a go, because I think that there's like these like soldiers who put themselves out there being like, I'm in charge of bodybuilding and you shouldn't prep and you shouldn't do this. And I'm like, relax. Like you're not in charge. You've actually achieved nothing in the grand scheme of the sport. Like, but I think as someone who is so decorated as yourself, like what is your opinion? Do you think that everyone can do it to have a go, or do you think that then lessens
I think I'm a little column A, column B. So personally, I don't compete to just have a fucking go. Yeah. Because I'm so competitive, I do compete to win. That's
insane. I'm going back to Texas to fucking win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm doing it and I'm not doing it half-assed. Like I'm committing.
But I do struggle with anyone that's like, I'm going to prep to just have fun. Yeah. Because I'm like, prep isn't fun. No. Prep is fucking hard. Yeah. And it's a choice that we make day in, day out. And I think that if you half-ass something like that, it can be taken as a little disrespectful to the people that are fucking going straight on. Yeah.
Do you think there's a difference in someone saying, I'm going to prep just to have fun, and then someone saying, I'm going to prep to challenge myself and to try something new? Because I think that could be a very different, like I think deep down internally what they're trying to express potentially is very different. I think I think doing it to have fun and to wear the bikini. Yeah.
Look, for the experience, I do get it to a point, but I think the downfall there is that it's not just about show day. No. Bodybuilding and show day itself is literally all about the prep in the lead up.
Like you're going to forget the show day will be over.
Exactly. And if you are solely focused on the outcome of just getting on stage in a cute bikini and all that kind of stuff, you lose all of that, I guess, like process driven part where
you learn about yourself.
That's genuinely the main part. Yeah. I don't sit in a 20-week prep just to get in a bikini on show day. Like I sit in a 20-week prep because that's the slog. That's what's required in order for me to look the way that I do on show day and then enjoy that process. But I think that, like the part that gets me sometimes is I think that people undermine what it takes to actually get on stage.
Yes.
At your best.
Yes.
And when you don't do it properly and when you don't do it with intention, I think that a lot of things can go wrong.
Yes.
And so I don't think that prepping is for everyone. I don't think that everyone can achieve their ultimate best on a show day because I don't think that they really understand what's involved in a prep. So I think that's where I get a little bit like, ugh, not everyone should do it. But I think if you have a full understanding and if you are willing to really invest yourself into that
and embody
process,
embody that lifestyle. I think that's a really big
then
thing.
sure.
Yeah, I think there's some girls who be like, I'm going to prep, and they've never, ever gone to a show.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've been going to I go to FMG shows. I think I've gone to every Pro-Am show in Gold Coast since 2022,
Yeah.
since you competed that year. So that's nearly 4 years that I've flown myself up there to watch it. I've gone to a lot of the IFBB shows. I've never wanted to compete in those, but like, I like to be there. And I think I'm someone who is very open about not wanting to achieve these crazy goals. And I have my very set reasons. Yeah. But I think it's really interesting to me, people saying, I want to compete and never go to a show, never experience it. They can't track their calories. They can't do cardio.
And that's
they can't
probably
hit a step count.
The thing, right? If you already embody the main basics of what a prep includes, go for your life. But if you don't even have those down pat in a lifestyle situation, I just think that you're doing it for the sake of doing it.
To say you've done it,
it's going to be your downfall because you're going to realize how fucking hard it can get. And then you're going to throw the towel in anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Then you've just like essentially wasted.
Yeah.
And missed out on making a lot of memories. Because that is a big part of it. You miss out on so much.
It's a sacrifice,
like,
right?
Yeah, okay, you can be present, but you're not actually present. You're there be like, I'm so fucking hungry. Shut up. I don't want to talk to you. Like, literally. You miss out on things.
Prep is a choice and I will always own that. I will never, ever make that someone else's problem for me to, like, we went out for dinner last night with my family and I literally took my container, asked them for a spare plate and put my container contents into this onto the spare plate. Yeah, like, look, I didn't ask them if I could do it. I just did it.
But rather be told, hey, don't do that rather than no.
But, you know, that's a sacrifice. It's not anyone else's problem but my own. And you have to be okay with that. And a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are not willing to do that. And therefore, I think to people who do, as I said, invest themselves solely into a prep, it looks half-assed and it looks like you really just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's where the disconnect comes. And then people are like, not everyone should prep. I think everyone has a right to prep, but I think everyone.
I agree with that. Everyone has the right to
be. You have to do it with intention.
Yeah. And I think I just get a little bit upset at the soldiers online being like, rah, 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 rah. Like, making people feel like they don't have that right.
Yeah,
and
like
that
they don't deserve it.
You need their approval to do it. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't.
I think everyone has a right to prep, but you should put yourself in the best position to be able to maximize on that. And if you can't do that without a prep, I have spoken to people before who, you know, and I'm sure you get it as well. People come on board with me as clients and they're like, I want to do a mock prep. Why? Like, tell me why you want to do a mock prep because you're telling me you don't actually want the end result of being on a stage. Why the fuck would you put yourself through a prep?
Do a dieting phase. There's a complete difference.
Do a dieting phase and learn how to do it in your life so that you can make sacrifices where required, but also enjoy yourself and understand that in a year's time, you're not going to look back on it and be like, fuck, I wish I didn't take Tupperware to that wedding because you don't have to. Like,
but you have to take Tupperware to the wedding.
But if you are in a prep, it's a requirement that you make those sacrifices because it's a short-term thing. So, yeah, I think people get a little bit confused and almost use it as a reason to stay on track. You don't need that. If you're not that interested in competing, you actually don't need a prep just to stay on track. You need to learn how to live your life and still achieve results.
Yeah. I think
Is that me? Oh, my God.
Yeah, your phone's ringing. She's a popular gal. No, you're so fine. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I think that's a really good way to look at it, that all these other things should be in line first.
100%.
Everyone has the right to step on stage. However, if you can't do the basics, let's work on getting those sorted, the stage will be there. The stage will be there in 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, let's work on the basics first and not rush into it.
Yeah.
And then like,
it's my pre-requirement for any prep client that comes on board. You have to spend 6 months with me, showing me that you can almost prove that you can stick to the basics. Because if you can't stick to the basics now, when there's no pressure and it's not fucking hard, trust me when I say you will not be able to do it in prep. And that doesn't mean you don't deserve it, but it means that you need to work to be able to prove that you can do that.
Yeah. I think that's a really nice way of putting it, as opposed to some other things that I've seen where it's like,
absolutely,
grab the mic and like scream at you. I'm like, oh, whoa, hold on. What do you think some of the biggest misconceptions and challenges are in a prep, in competing and all of these things? I think people do think it is very easy. And I feel really awkward sometimes talking about it myself, because I'm like, I'm very open that I don't want to be a pro.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I really have the right, despite stepping on stage? I've placed top 3 twice in some of my categories. Like, I've achieved things, but I don't identify as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't really have the right to always talk about it. But what do you think some of the biggest misconceptions that you've had reflected back to you about a show, a prep, doing all these things? Do you feel like people think it's quite easy?
Yeah, I do think that people don't get the full scope.
Yeah.
Like, unless you've done it, you don't really ever understand it completely. And I think people forget that, like, it does take over your whole entire fucking life. And whilst, we talk about the fact that it's a choice, it is also a sacrifice, and that's something that you have to live with because you're choosing to do that as well. It's not that simple. And I think another misconception is that because you're an online coach, it's so much easier because you don't have a real job. So you get to just do all the things.
But your job is 24/7 with you. I can guarantee by the time I check my phone after this recording, my phone's
I know. I got here and I already had 14 WhatsApp messages and was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's probably more consuming. Yeah.
But I think like, it doesn't matter what job you're in. Either way, you're going to have to sacrifice, because let's just say, and it is easier for me to go to the gym at 10:30 in the morning because I choose to be able to do that. But that doesn't mean I'm not working at 9 p.m. at night.
Yep.
Someone who works 9 to 5, might have to go to the gym at 3 a.m., but they're not working at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So like there's sacrifices no matter what you're doing. Everything is a choice.
Yeah. FMG is really good at doing that. It's something I really enjoy about the show is how they give every single person, amateurs specifically, I'm not 100% sure if they do that with the pros, their job.
Yeah. You have to write a bio.
Yeah. So like there's lawyers on stage. Yeah. There's like women who work in the mines that are mums of 3. Yeah. Like
lots
they give
nurses,
you their job, and it's like
all that kind of stuff.
Online coaches, yes, are present, but they're actually the minority.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's actually really cool to see that like
it is cool.
People use online coaches as this like excuse almost for the freedom. I'm doing air quotes for people who can't see, because I'm trying not to like de-glamorize online coaching, because we are so blessed to have this beautiful flexibility that we do have. We're able to work in places.
Fucking hard for it.
It's taken me 5 years to be able to like have the flexibility of being able to sit here on a Thursday at 2:00 in the afternoon to be able to film this, have my clients set. It's such a luxury, and I understand that. But I think as well that like I've literally just blanked on what I was saying. Oh my God. What was I saying?
Yeah. Like it doesn't make it any easier just to be an online
You still have
coach
other commitments.
Yeah, absolutely.
You still have to run a household. You still have to practice what you serve, like still give your service to your clients.
But also, like you said, like we don't ever turn off. We don't ever, like my phone is always on. My clients have access to me. It doesn't mean I'll get back to them immediately, but
they can message.
And as a business owner, as a coach, you see that and you're like, fuck, I should just reply to that real quick. Like your brain never turns off.
Literally.
And so prep is easier in a way that I can manage my time efficiently for the things that I want to do, but it doesn't mean that my business stops running. Like absolutely not. But I think also people forget that it can be quite lonely, and it can be quite difficult if you don't have the right support network around you.
Just literally go straight into my next question.
Yeah.
people who have competed know that prep can be really lonely, really isolating. Yes, you can have support around you. However, everything at the end of the day falls onto your shoulders.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you've experienced both sides of this pendulum where it's been like lonely and isolating, really supported, really a lot of like you said, now you've got a really positive coach, really great coach, really good support system.
Yeah.
You've got a partner now you're going into this prep. Do you feel like you've experienced both sides of that? Or like, do you feel like you prefer being left alone or you prefer the support? Like, where do you kind of?
Yeah, I think everyone's experienced probably both sides. There's a reason why I've never been able to hold down a relationship in a prep.
I never mentioned this. Oh God.
But
also,
saying that,
can I just say, to counter this, it is definitely not a you thing. I think it's a matter of compatibility. It's 100%. Also a matter of the right person will be there, because I was engaged the first time I stepped on stage.
Wow.
And now I have stepped on stage as a wife.
Yeah.
The right person who wants to make the sacrifices for you will make those sacrifices. So don't blame yourself fully.
But
if you
also
said you can't hold
just
it.
understand that it was not their fault.
Yeah.
It was mine.
Me like defending you and I don't even know what happened. Like, oi, you're not
Trust
wrong.
me,
it's them.
It's me. It's a me issue.
But yeah, like I said, the right person will definitely make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
To deal with. I mean, I was an asshole to my husband when I was prepping, because it was like
assholes at times.
And I think that's definitely something that the right person will be there.
It comes down to whether that person really does understand the process or not. Like,
or respects you enough to allow you to pursue that goal. Because my husband is only now in his first ever dieting phase.
Yeah, wow.
First ever structured, track your calories, send me check-ins every week dieting phase.
Cool.
And he's 30.
Yeah.
So he only now potentially has somewhat of a more understanding.
Yeah.
Whereas previously he didn't know what it was.
Yeah. In saying that, I've had ex-partners be like, I've been in a dieting phase before. I know what it's like. And I'm like, no,
Different.
you don't. You do not know.
Different.
It's not the same, just so you're aware.
Yeah. Oh, this is not a permission for my husband to then throw back at me.
Please,
the next time we're probably like, yeah, well, I did a dieting phase and whoa. This is not your permission slip. Alex, if you're watching this, if you
don't
hear
even
this,
try it.
Don't even because I will come at you.
Because I have been there, and trust me, that is
Caitlyn
infuriating.
Will come at you.
But no, I think it's really important. It's not so much like the people that love you will support you no matter what, right? But I think what's more important is them understanding and being okay with what you need in that prep. It's fine to be like, I've been in a dieting phase and I understand. Great. But what do I need from this prep that you can give me? Or like whether that's space, whether that's, I need you to, I don't know, make the bed in the morning, whatever the fuck it is. But like understanding and being okay with sacrificing the fact that they won't be necessarily the main priority for that time period and knowing that it will come back to them.
Yep.
Like people being okay with that and not taking shit personally and not, like taking away from the process of what you're trying to achieve because ultimately it's short-term sacrifice, right? Like 20-week prep, whatever it looks like, you're asking them to take a step back from being a priority or whatever that looks like. And that's a sacrifice on them as well. But it's finding those people that are okay with that. Finding those people that love you anyway, regardless of whether you have a shitty day and you're an asshole. Like all of that sort of stuff is so important. Finding the right coach that you genuinely fucking trust. Like I've been through all of it. I've been through people who I didn't feel supported by. I've lost partners. I've had coaches that I didn't really gel with, that I probably shouldn't have prepped with. Like I've gone through it all. And I feel like right now for me is the most aligned in my personal life, in my social life, in my coaching life, in my business life that I've ever been.
That's really
to
cool.
be able to maximize on this last prep for myself. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That's very, very cool. So do you think like one of the biggest misconceptions is that people should understand what you're going through?
And they fucking won't.
Yeah.
Like they absolutely won't. And it's almost your job not to educate them, but to let them in. Because I think a lot of the time when we're on prep, we just expect people to understand. And like you said, they should understand. They're not going to because
They're
they've
not going
never
to.
fucking done it.
No.
They
And
don't.
it's like we said at the start, being a pro, being in a bodybuilder. You ask my dad or my mum, first time I ever said it, they literally pictured like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
literally
guys, I can't
what.
even tell you. My mum's like, just don't get too much bigger. I'm like, okay, mum.
Sorry,
no
Mum.
worries.
Stay tuned.
Oh, Lord.
But like, so I think as well, like they're not going to understand.
No.
They don't need to understand.
They don't need to.
But you need to also respect that that is okay. Everyone is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And I think that doesn't give you the permission to then be an asshole.
Absolutely. And again, I think this is where it comes down to like being open and honest with the people that do love you, because they will love you no matter what. But if you push them away, if you become an asshole, if you make it their problem, they're not going to be here for it.
No.
And it will be the breakdown of a lot of relationships and shit like that.
Very common people to break up during prep.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you. You're looking at me and you're raising your eyes. Like, I'm just saying it's a common thing.
Yeah, no, it is. But I think, again, it comes down to communication. Like something that I've learned over the last couple of years is like, I don't expect people to understand what you're fucking thinking. They don't know.
Yep.
You need to talk about it. And if you're not comfortable talking about it, then that's on you.
Yeah,
like,
there's a missing link.
You can't expect people to just read your fucking mind.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But I think communication even comes freaking beyond bodybuilding. I think it's just such
that's just a relationship thing.
It's just a life thing. I think there's basic communication skills that people just don't have.
Everyone lacks it. But that's because they don't want to get uncomfortable. No one wants to fucking ruffle feathers.
That's the number one thing in everything.
And I am a recovering people pleaser, so yeah, don't come at me because I'm still that person. But
I don't know if I'm recovering. I think I'm still somewhat in it because I just hate upsetting people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm never going to intentionally try and be a bad person. I'm never going to intentionally try and piss someone off or like upset someone. But I'm like, if I have the ability to make someone happy or make someone feel good about themselves, I'm going to do it. But then also I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Big thing that I've learned over the last couple of years is like, it's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm my responsibility. They are their responsibility. How someone reacts to me being honest about something, which is all I can do, that's on them.
Yeah. That's definitely a really big goal of mine in 2025. It's just to like do me.
Time, babe.
Do me.
Trust me, I'm 35 years old. It took me that long.
Does anyone else like believe that? That's crazy to me that you're 35. Like I feel like we're the same age, but like I think I'm turning 28 this year. I've got very set goals that I want to achieve this year. And I think entering the mindset of like your thoughts, great. Love them for you. Amazing. Congratulations. 100%. Don't care.
We don't have to agree. It's not.
And we can sit here and have a conversation as two people who have very different views, who work in similar industries, who potentially have a similar niche ideal client. Fine, great, amazing, love that for us. But we also have the communication skills to be able to be like, cool, that's your opinion, that's my opinion, sweet, let's hug it out later, let's go for breakfast.
Whatever. Yeah.
Like, I think people also go into this whole thing of like, they have to be right.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Everyone has to agree with you. No, they don't.
Yeah.
You always have to have the final say. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
And I think it's this whole communication thing beyond just a relationship. It's 100%. Like a life thing. And I'm just like,
yeah, we all lack those basic skills so badly. Like it's only just the last couple of years that I've really understood how important it is to just be honest, speak your truth, and you know,
someone's always going to be upset.
What happens from that? Exactly. People are going to be fucking mad at you no matter what. So you need to be comfortable within yourself.
Yeah. Do you feel like since you've started this whole recovering people pleaser, that's such a tongue twister to say, but do you feel like now the connections in the community and the friendships and the relationships and the people around you are just so much more genuine?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think as well, stepping into my truth and being honest in what I really want, need, believe, whatever that looks like, I respect myself more.
Yep.
But I think others respect you more as well.
Yep.
Whether it hurts them or not to hear what you have to say, I think they genuinely respect you, because for so long I spent so much time just saying what I thought needed to be said or what you wanted to hear. And in the end, it comes out that that's either not what I wanted to say, or, you know, whatever.
There's resentment.
Yeah. And then you live with this guilt and it's a fucking shit storm. So being honest, being upfront about shit, as much as it's uncomfortable for me to do it, I respect myself more, and I think you get more respect from others as well. And you can have more genuinely authentic relationships through that.
And it's so
nice.
So nice.
So nice. It's refreshing.
It's so refreshing to have zero competition.
Yeah.
Zero jealousy.
And you just
zero resentment.
You just literally want to hype each other. Like, that's it.
Like, my friends, I've got one of my closest friends, Kate, acting like no one fucking knows. She was on this podcast.
Morris, we know.
Kate Morris, at the Kate
we
Morris.
All know who
we
she
all
is.
know Kate Morris. We don't know Kate Morris, get out from under your rock. But like, she's definitely, and I reflected this back to her, she's definitely someone who has taught me that I don't need to please people. And that friendship for me is so invaluable because it's just like, she's shown me that I can be whoever the fuck I want to be. I could be dressed up really cute. She will love me equally.
Exactly.
I'm planning to rock up to her house on Christmas Day in my pajamas and sit on her couch all day, and she will still love me. Like,
that's the
thing.
I
think it's just so
it's those genuine friendships where you don't have to be anybody but yourself.
And it literally comes down to communication.
Absolutely.
And I think if you are someone who's finding that you're struggling to make these lasting relationships, lasting friendships, have that ride or die girl best friend. I think communication is just something that you need to pause, reflect, and reflect back to yourself that like, hey, where is the missing link? Because I also think we're very quick to shift the blame.
100%. No one wants to take responsibility or accountability. But also, we all sit there and fucking lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can't be honest with yourself, what makes you think you're going to be honest with anybody else?
So true. And it's not meant
This
to be comfortable.
Deep.
This is getting so deep. These are not my questions. We're only on question 4. We've been chatting for 50 minutes. No, this is great.
This is girl therapy.
This is literally, we're both going to walk out of this being like, we're so fresh and
God,
light.
I love this so much.
I needed this like 3 weeks ago. Like, on the verge. I literally said before we started filming this, I'm on the verge of a breakdown.
Yeah.
So we're good. We're just getting our thoughts and feelings out there.
Moving through that. It's fun.
Hope you're enjoying it so far. Make sure you like the podcast if you do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think definitely we're also quick to shift the blame. We're also quick to blame everyone else. We're never going to take responsibility for the things that are hard, the things that are uncomfortable, the things that go wrong.
I literally lived in victim mode majority of my life.
I talk about this so
Fuck
often.
Me.
Do you reflect back on that? I don't think I was so much in victim mode. I was more so a denial person. That things were never what they were.
Like, mine was just never my problem. There was always an external force that was causing
it was always everyone
issue.
Else.
Someone else had done it. Like, there was someone else to blame. It was never I could never take responsibility.
Did you have someone reflect that back to you? Or was it more just this realization that as you've evolved as like a woman that you've understood?
Yeah, I can't really think of a time that it was necessarily reflected back to me. But I think I just realized, like, I got so sick of my own bullshit. I got so sick of my own excuses. I got so sick of telling myself the same fucking story. And I was like, when does it stop?
Yeah.
Like, when does it stop? And I think when you start to lie to yourself and, you know, disrespect your own word, you lose trust with yourself. It's like the only way to fucking get that back is to literally just dig in.
Yeah.
And do what you say you're going to do. Be more fucking honest. Take accountability and responsibility for your actions. Like, a huge thing that I learned through one of my breakups was that I played a role too. I got hurt. I got cheated on, but I played a role too. And that was something that I think changed my whole fucking life, because instead of me sitting there being like, woe is me, he hurt me so bad. And then me then bleeding that onto every other person that came into my life, I was like, you know what? There are elements of like that role that I played that I could clean up and that I could fucking change.
That's
huge.
The
only way that I'm going to be better for my next relationship or for my next friendship or whatever it was to actually own my shit.
Yeah, wow. That's a huge reflection.
Welcome to your 30s, guys. It's fun.
Hey, can I ask a question? Do you think it's true when people say 30s are the best years of your life?
100%.
Do you love being in your 30s?
I love being in my 30s.
My husband just turned 30 last year, so 2024. I'm turning 2028 in Feb. And I'm like, I struggle with birthdays. Like, I really don't love a birthday.
Babe, I was petrified of turning 30. petrified.
Yeah,
When
do
I
you
tell
even
you that
being
I thought
28?
my world was ending when I was turning 30, I'm not even joking you.
I strongly suggest someone call me on my 28th birthday
Yeah.
because I don't think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, look, I get it, trust me. But then I turned 30 and I was like, no one died. The world did not end. And you become so much more aware, so much more, I hate using like, like wiser, all that kind of
I'm a
shit.
wise old
Oh, fucking hell.
lady.
But you do, and you realize what's fucking important. I think in your 20s, you're so
Mm,
consumed with chasing all this materialistic shit. And when you get to 30, you're like, none of
yeah.
it fucking matters.
I think I've got a lot of friends who are older. Like
Yeah.
my closest, like I said, my husband's older than me.
Mm.
My siblings are older than me. And I think I have a lot of older people. And I see that. Like they don't care about doing all of these things and
No.
having all of these things. And it's just like the pure, genuine moments and friendships
Yeah.
and family and all of these things are
Babe,
so
I
much
wasted so
more
much
important.
of my time in my 20s.
Really?
Just like chasing shit that meant fucking nothing.
Nothing.
Trying to be someone that I don't even know who I was trying to be, but I was trying to be someone else other than who I was.
I think I fell into that really young in like early 20s. I mean, I'm not saying I'm in my 30s, I'm still in my 20s, but
Yeah.
like I definitely tried to impress people who did
100%.
not matter.
No.
And
I
it's-
spent so much of my 20s just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, and then in your 30s, you're like,
Ew.
what the fuck? Like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
What was I doing?
I hear it all the time and I tell my husband, I'm like, don't worry, babe, like 30's are your best years. And he's like, oh. I'm like, everyone says, so I had to just ask that. Selfishly had to ask that.
Confirmed.
Confirmed 30's are your best year. What
30's your
year?
best years.
What age so far do you think has been your favorite?
What
What was 2 years ago? 32? When you won your pro card, went to Worlds? That was an eventful year in terms of your competing career.
Yeah, I've had a lot of ups and downs the last couple of years, to be completely honest. Like a lot of the time, things have not, like my business has either been good or bad and my personal life has been good or bad. Do you know what I mean? And then competing is in there somewhere in between. Like,
So do you think now would be your best part where
I
things
honestly
just feel...
think this year has been the hardest. No, actually not even the hardest. Probably the most challenging year of my life, but also the most rewarding year of my life.
That's really nice.
And it feels like it's ending in a really wholesome way.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
I
she's
love that.
happy.
For you. She's happy. Look at that smile. She's a girlfriend. I've given you not so much shit, but every time you post him on like your close friends or something, I'm like, that's a boy.
Guys, everyone has been like, that's a fucking hard launch. And I'm like,
it started soft launch on your close friends.
Yeah.
It was a hand at first. And I was like, that's a boy's hand. This was me like full freak. I'm like, that's a boy.
So many people.
And then it went to hard launch like straight away at like Christmas friends
Yeah.
with your friends. I was like, oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, I had so many people when we went out for dinner. They're like, what is that man's hand doing on your bum? And I'm like, oh,
You like my bum?
guys.
I train it hard. Someone needs to touch it.
Yeah, people get really invested.
Yeah. So something I do really admire about you, kind of going back to competing and your competing career, is your off seasons. Obviously, this off season that you haven't had.
Yes.
Poor you. Yeah. Actually, really sorry.
Yeah,
for you,
literally
that's-
poor me. But
It's okay. 20 more weeks and then you're done forever.
yeah, it's not even 20.
Oh, really?
It's like 18.
Oh, Jesus. But something that you do, I personally admire. I don't know if you so much, based off that reaction, admire about yourself, but you don't so much have a fear or a need to hide or to turn away from gaining weight.
No.
And I think I've definitely copped a bit for it online. I mean, I've never really gotten hate.
Yeah.
But I have had comments and I have had things made about it. Like, I don't want to be lean. Like, I don't want to be in that stage condition. And I want to eat and I want to enjoy my life and I want to have guilt-free moments and don't want to track and don't want to do all these things.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that as an athlete who is at your level, there is no one above you in your category, and you don't have a fear of gaining weight. What do you feel about that? Do you feel like you cop some things for it? Do you feel like you prove yourself because of the level you can achieve? Like,
it's important to me to be really raw and honest with my competing journey. And the reason for that is because I think that, again, people get such a like glamorized perception of what it looks like. And first and foremost, it's called fucking bodybuilding. Yeah, you don't build at 8% body fat. Nobody does. So if you want to build a body, you actually need to have body fat. You actually need to be able to eat good food. you need to be training fucking hard. You need to be doing a lot of things that staying lean all year round does not support.
Even for the
So
mental relief, I feel.
100%.
Like
The
that plays a part.
reality is you're prepping for 20 weeks out of a 52-week year. Is that 52 weeks? Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, Alex, how
Anyway.
many years in the week is there?
How many weeks in a year is that?
You can't hear us.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Anyway.
We'll just roll with that.
52 if we're wrong. Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, you're prepping for,
Yeah.
let's just say a third of your year.
Yeah.
So the other 2/3, what are you doing? If you're staying lean, if you're trying to chase this comp prep look, like you're not maximizing on your off season, you're not going to be improved by the next time that you prep. So I think it's important to understand that there is beauty in just living your life. And my most recent off seasons have been a lot more controlled.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me when I say, like, I have fucked up many an off season. And when I say fucked up, I mean I have binged. I have, put on 10 kilos in 2 weeks. I have done things the very hard way, which has not set me up for a very good prep in itself. But it's also made me very, very uncomfortable. So whilst I don't have a problem with putting on weight, and I actually know that it's a necessity, and I know that it's, something that has to happen in order for me to improve, it's that mindset shift of why I'm doing it. It's not because I think that food's going to disappear and I'm going fucking full ham for it. It's because I want to be a little bit more relaxed in my approach. It's because I have a little bit more flexibility. It's because I know there's a purpose for it. So, sometimes it gets out of hand. Yeah, sure. Like I love food. And when I'm not on in prep, I tend to be a little bit all or nothing. And so, there are moments where I do definitely send it when it comes to food, and that's all well and good, whatever. But my mindset now is I'm putting on a certain amount of body fat each week or whatever that looks like in order for me to improve on the physique that I'm trying to improve on. It's more about the improvements that I can make than it is about all the food that I can consume.
Yeah. And I think maybe as you do more and more preps, you become more and
100%.
more understanding of the struggles, of the hardships that you potentially face. I know after I did my first ever prep, never made it to stage, that was during COVID. I dieted all through lockdowns and stuff like that. That was when I fell into binge eating.
Yep.
I had no idea what to expect after it. So potentially, I mean, I haven't done that many, but you've done quite a lot more than I have. But would you say that the more you do, the more understanding that you have in terms of what is going to happen and what you can expect?
Absolutely. Your first post-show will always be a fucking wild ride because no one can set you up for that. And I will always be extremely honest when I say post-show for me is 75 million times harder than prep. I can prep any day of the week. No issues whatsoever. Post-show, that's fucking hard. That's really hard for me. And I think also having the background that I do of where I was and all of that, that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You're in a larger girl. She comes out to play a lot of the time.
She comes
out
I did post-show in America. That was...
Babe, there was a reason why I didn't stay in Vegas for very long.
When I go back to Texas, I've said to Alex and Mark, we're staying for maybe 6 days max.
Yeah.
I did a month.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that.
I don't know either. Honestly.
Yeah, but I do think, as you said, every show that you do, you understand a little bit more and can choose to make improvements from learning from your previous experience.
Yep.
I do think though as well that every new level that you unlock, there's a new devil.
Yeah.
You think that you've got a certain part of it under wraps and then something else comes up. So, it's always going to be a learning curve. But again, the last 3 shows for me have been a lot easier for me to handle because I've actually been a lot more aware of myself. I'm not just mindlessly doing shit. I'm not just saying yes because I feel like I should. I'm a lot more aware of my own actions, my own choices, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I definitely think my first prep never made it to show. I fell into binge eating. Then my goal for my next one was to simply not binge eat.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed with binge eating, became binge free in the same year.
Yeah.
So I think for me, just having that different goal every single time.
Yes.
And then also doing a lot of work. Like this is the first time in my life that I've been at the weight that I am where I'm actually quite content.
Mhm.
And I think, like you've said, it's a lot of internal work.
Absolutely.
And I think it doesn't mean that I need to be lean.
Yep.
It doesn't mean I need to do this. It means I need to like myself.
100%.
Like, and I think if I'm only liking myself when I'm lean, like,
But this is the thing as well, babe, that people don't understand. It's like confidence doesn't come from your body size.
no.
If you actually like yourself, you can be any fucking size and still be confident.
100%.
It comes down to genuinely being okay with the person that you are, regardless of what you look like.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a better person when I'm lean.
Mm.
And I'm no less of a person when I put on another 5 kilos.
Yeah. This is why I get so like, I don't want to say triggered because I'm like, I'm at the point now where I just don't even care about it. But when people say, oh, your body is your business card, I'm like, motherfucker. Look, I understand these things matter, but I think how I treat myself,
100%.
how I think about myself, how I show up every single day, how I act about myself, how I act around food, how I act around my friends.
People don't remember you for what you look like, what you
No.
say, any of that. They remember you for how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel good about yourself, you're probably not going to make other people feel good about themselves. And like genuinely, it just baffles me how fucking aesthetic focused we still are. And I think this is another really hard part for me with bodybuilding is because it contradicts everything that I fucking believe most of the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way that I coach, the way that I talk about things.
But I also think
I
you're
then
really
step
good
on
at sharing
stage
that.
to get my fucking body rated out of 10. Do you know what I mean?
The first
It
time
makes no fucking sense.
The first time my sister ever came to my show, my first ever show was with ICN at the race course. She goes, Georgia, you may as well have been on the racetrack. You were like a cow getting herded onto stage being voted because they just crammed so many
with
girls.
your numbers as well.
With my number. She goes, it's like you were just being rated. And I'm like, well, literally what it is. But when she made that reflection, I was like, wow, I was literally
It's
like
wild.
cattle.
Literally.
I was cattle going to the slaughterhouse.
Sometimes I think about it and I'm like,
it's so weird.
What the fuck? Like I choose to do this? It makes no sense.
It's
to
so
me.
weird. And having that reflection given back to me, I was like,
yeah,
you're right. You're not wrong.
No, that's crazy.
I'm cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone who never would never judge anyone else, like I literally put myself in a position where I'm side by side with someone and they're judging me.
Literally doing the complete opposite of everything you believe. But I also think, like I said, the body is your business card thing. I'm like, if that's all you're focusing on about a person, it says more about you than it does about me.
100% it does. But also health and fitness is so much more than just what you look like.
100%.
So
I think
you want to be
that
a
could
good,
literally be a whole
holistic
other episode.
online coach. It's not just what you look like because you could be an absolute horrible person.
And have horrible habits and behaviors.
Uneducated or treat people like shit.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you're a good coach just because you look cute. Like,
because you look cute on stage.
No.
With a 6-pack.
So much more than that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we've been chatting for quite a while now.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
sorry
ask
about
you
that.
2 more questions.
Okay.
You're an auntie.
I am.
How do you have a niece? 1 niece?
2.
2 nieces.
Yeah.
If either of them came up to you and said, Auntie Caitlyn, I'm going to compete, what would you say?
Fuck.
I want to be like you and wear your bikini.
I would ask them why.
What if they said that they were inspired by you?
I would say don't be. No, I would want to know that they were doing it for themselves. I would want to know that they're doing it for the right reasons. I would want to know, like where does the motivation come from? And this is the same with anyone that comes to me for prep coaching. Like I will ask you the deeper questions because doing a show for doing the sake of doing a show I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
I'm not about that life. I've been in this for so long that like I know how much more you have to attach a why to this because otherwise it's going to be a fucking hard slog.
But what a 360 moment that would be if one of them did it. Your niece is how old?
I've got one finishing prep. She's 5, she's turning 6 very shortly. And then I've got one who is turning 4 in March.
Sweet little babies.
Bless. Love
Would you
them.
ever prep them?
Absolutely not. No.
What if they said, I want to compete, but I want you to prep me?
I'd say good luck.
Competing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so
Yeah, no, I have a real issue with like, and this is a personal thing. I could never be coached by a partner. I could never do it with my sister or no, I just can't. It's too close quarters.
I've even struggled doing it with friends.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And they do say, no, that doesn't actually qualify. Don't worry. Never mind.
No, I want to know now.
I was going to say they do say you should never get coached by someone who's seen you naked, but that's purely from like a romantic relationship.
That's really strange. I mean, definitely my coach, none of my coaches I've ever had.
Then you're fine.
Have you had coach who've seen you naked?
No.
Oh.
Like I'm saying, you shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Also, coaches, stop sleeping with your clients. Okay, cool.
Coaches, stop asking for people to make you That wasn't even words, but you know what I was trying to say. Stop asking to see people naked.
Literally.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, whole world. Anyway. All right, final question, even though Alex is going to be so mad because he just made him change the cameras.
Sorry, Alex.
And we literally had like 2 minutes left, but that's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. Don't stress. Would you rather?
Oh,
I can't answer this because I've wrote this, and as I was writing this, I was like, I can't answer this question.
Oh, great.
So, would you rather have your bikini top pop off on stage and your full titties out, mid like arms in the air posing, or would you rather have your heel break, fall off stage, and face plant onto the judge's table?
I would rather titties.
Really?
Yeah. 100%.
Do you have nice titties? I got ugly titties.
I'm dead. Look, I'm a bit of a nudist as it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like all of my friends have seen me naked. Like,
yeah, okay.
I don't really have a problem with being nude around people. That sounds really hot. Like
it sounds real. Like,
I swear
liberating.
to God, I don't just parade around
if you
naked.
Actually, just ask Caitlyn
if you're
to
one of my people,
off,
you've
will.
seen me naked.
Yeah. I think I'd be the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think titties because I don't want to break my face, and that's really embarrassing.
Falling off a stage onto the judge's table, that would be insane.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do that.
So you're going titties?
I'll flash for sure.
I think I would go falling if I had to pick.
Really?
Because I'm like, when I'm like lean,
yeah,
I'm just a nipple.
Oh, mine are like bolt-ons. They're just like these silicone molds.
Like I don't have fake titties. I don't think I'll ever get them.
Yeah.
I'm just a nipple. So I'm like, it would be more embarrassing people to see how little I have.
Yeah, but then it's just nipple. Free the nip. Who cares?
What a rogue ending to this podcast. We've literally chatted about everything and anything. But I just want to say thank you so much. We've been chatting for over an hour. It's my longest episode, I think, to date.
Oh my God,
so
really?
Go us.
Can talk.
Love it. Anyway, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. That's so funny. Well, like Alex is going to be mad at us and we only have one question left.
So sorry, Alex.
Oh.